But let me show you the final first.
Mugs! Beautiful.
I thought you were calling for Momo. Like, that's a new nickname.
Mugs and chugs.
Uh-huh.
Momo and Cha-Cha.
Yeah. You didn't have to tell me twice.
Just the once?
Ugh. Okay, so this first cup in the row is really annoying to watch me model because it's supposed to be just like a standard teacup, but I wasn't looking at reference. So I'm like, I know the shape of it, but I don't. And I fuss with it for a while before I finally probably do pull up reference. And it's like, oh, okay, that's so simple. I should have just done it from the start. But it's like that one thing I was telling you of like how a normal person draws a line is like just draws a line. It's like how an artist draws a line. It's like you need to look up like references, tutorials, like have a few things to look at first. Yeah, I made 6 different cups, 1 and 2, just have a fun variety. Man, what is this one gonna be? Oh,
is that the purple one?
No, that one's not the purple one. I think this one's gonna be pink. But you're right, the purple one also has a wobbly, flowy rim like that. I think the purple one is at the very end of the line, but for some reason, I like switch it over to be at the beginning of the line. Like, I don't know why, but it's like in my brain right now, I am bothered by it. It's like, I do want it to be at the beginning of the line right now. It's like, I don't know why I had to do that. It's like what the brain wants.
What the brain wants, what the brain needs.
Exactly. Gosh. And like when I was texturing these, it's like one of my goals was to texture one of them to be like a kind of standard, like normal coffee mug style, but like be painted as if it were painted by a kid. So it's like I had taken some pictures of what your children have done to see if I could like include little motifs of theirs. And then I just didn't do it. Like, I don't know why I just lost interest in that idea. But it's like, looking back on this now, I think it would have been cute, and I like the idea still. But, like, why didn't I do it? I don't know.
Use that in the future still.
You know, I think the actual is just, like, 3 of these cups had intensive coloring and processes. And 3 of them were kind of simple. And so I think I just kind of liked that 3 of them wouldn't take hours and hours out of my life. Yeah, and oh my gosh, I like had so many different cup handle ideas, and it's like, oh, will that work there? No, I think it should go somewhere else. It all was so meaningful. Here I go, trying to figure out how to make a teacup shape, and it's still not right.
Oh. Oh, yes, I like that. Like an ear.
Yeah, like, it was funny because I sketched out different little handle options, like, in my little sketchbook, and they all did look like ears. It just seemed like I was doing some practice on that kind of anatomy, but it's like, nah, it's cup handles.
You're going to hollow out each of them.
Yeah.
You did that with the teacup already, though, didn't you?
I think so.
And the one on the end you started with.
Yeah.
A hollowness.
Yeah. There we go, in its rightful place. But why did it matter?
Because of the size flow.
Maybe.
Oh, Cha-Cha was looking at your foot like she hated it.
Oh, no.
She stopped, but
she's turned her back on it, though.
She's like, it's in my way.
This bed isn't big enough for Chow and my foot.
Blocking my view.
Anyway, this cup is the most fun because it's the only one of these that I sculpt. You'll see. You'll find out later. But then when I get around to texturing, it's the least fun because I think texturing this cup took 9 hours just for the one cup, but you wouldn't be able to tell that from the footage because I cut out a lot. So it's like, it'll just be pleasant to watch, but just know in your heart and soul that it took me 9 hours for no good reason. It's just because I couldn't figure out, I don't know. We're not going to talk about texturing now. We're not there yet. But it's just like, just thinking back, like, it was fun to model, not as fun to texture. Gosh, when I edit through all this footage, have I finally pulled up reference for teacups? No, I don't think so. Maybe? Yeah, that looks like I know what I'm doing now. Like, I have the base figured out. I have some specifics in mind. There we go. Now I'm figuring it out. It'll get there. Don't stress. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. When I edit through this footage, there is so much, like, toggling around of the object that I have to cut out because I feel like it could be nauseating.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Hello? Stoops. So it's, yeah, like, whenever you see me toggling, it's like those were selectively kept in there. But it's like there's so much more toggling that you'll never see. This handle was a rough one because it's like, you think I'm done with it, and it's like, I could have been done with it. Like, that squarish handle is nice by itself, but I go back later, and I just have to complicate matters. But I like the way it looks in the end. Let's see another random topic for movie prompting.
Schmoving.
Okay. I had Flash on here. What did I need to know about Flash? So I know that you said that, like, Flash got... The show had a lot of, like, joining up with some of the other DC shows, like Supergirl and... What are the other ones?
There's the Legends of Tomorrow. There's Blue Lightning, right?
Okay.
And the Arrow.
Oh, okay, yeah. With Felicity. Okay, so I was wondering, it's like you weren't, like, super happy to have to watch some of those to, like, catch up to know what was going to go on.
We didn't.
You didn't? Okay.
We tried a couple times and it was never worth it. But it was rude because it's like you couldn't... There were important parts to our story that we needed to get from that conglomeration of episodes. So it's like, I think we missed all of Barry and what's her face's wedding because it was part of that one.
Gosh.
And it's like, I don't...
No fair.
And there's the whole sector where they started meeting their daughter from the future, and she was at their wedding, and she's been something important. So, like, I think that was one of the first mentions we've seen of her.
Wait, pause. There was a slang. Was it Marvy? It was like the slang for cool that their daughter used.
It's not that. If you asked me the right one, I would know it.
Gosh. Okay, continue on. I'll add a little caption of it, just like this was the word. I googled it.
It was something like Swayze. I don't know.
Patrick Swayze.
So yeah, I didn't watch this.
Okay.
It wasn't worth it.
Got it. I know that some of my friends really liked Supergirl for a while, and I don't know what happened to change that, but it was like, it was just kind of funny because for a while, some of my friends were trying to get me to watch Supergirl and also The 100, and I had intentions to watch either one of those for however long they had remained interested in it. And finally, like, something happened with The 100 where it was just like, no, like, don't bother anymore. Like, we have an issue with such thing or other. And I think something similar happened with Supergirl where my friends just lost their interest in it and stopped recommending it. And it was just like, whew, like, cool. Now I don't have to, like, try to uphold this promise to watch it. Like, they don't care anymore.
Yeah, of all the other DC things, Supergirl was probably one of the most willing I would have been. But it did, like, I tried a couple episodes, but it just, I don't know, there's a cheesiness to Flash that we were okay with. And no, it wasn't good, but it was more bearable than the others for some reason.
Yeah.
It just, the people in it were easier to take.
Grant Gustin was easier to look at.
Yeah.
I was curious about some aspects of it, but
It was Shui, by the way.
Shui?
That was what you would say. everything was shui. It was like cool, I guess.
Okay. Is is that a portmanteau of other words?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Shui. Okay, so here begins the trial. And again, it's like, we won't be sitting here for 9 hours, but just know that I was. So it's like, I couldn't figure out, it's like, I needed to, like, I wanted to just find a brush preset kind of thing that would make it so I wouldn't have to do a lot of manual or just hand drawing all these things. But it was just like, there's not really, it won't work. Like, I need to just do it by hand and like just suck it up. So like those little outlines of a lighter purple, those are just there as a guide for me. But I think I keep them a little bit, like I incorporate them into, like, they're going to be highlights. But it's like this little, I don't know, see, like I'm trying to see, like, would this look nice? Does it look like an iris? And it's like, it doesn't. So like I just have to figure something else out. And there I take away the little toolbar at the bottom so I can really get a good look at this. And I'm still trying with like a kind of sandpapery brush to see if I can do anything. I don't think that stays green, but it might. But it's just, it's a hard knock life. I'm trying with all these brushes to try to make my life easier. And I think I waste like 3 hours just trying to find like a shortcut before it's just like, nope, just commit to spending a long time on this and it'll look better. So I don't think I've committed to it at this point. I think I'm still trying to figure out other options that'll take less time. Further outlining the petals just so I can see them defined and maybe like let things grow from there. Oh yeah, another thing, a reason it was really easy to cut away a lot of footage from the texturing process of this is that most everything that I do to the outside of the cup, I also do to the inside of the cup, like the petals on the inside, because you can see both sides of a flower petal in real life. And I thought, like, if I was an artist making a beautiful iris teacup, then like I would probably want to do all of that. And so if I'm modeling this and making a 3D version, then like I'm going to do my darndest. So yeah, this is the point where I find my stride and I realize it's going to take forever, but I'm like ready for it. But you won't see that in the edit. I think I just show, each time I do any of these processes, I just show it on one of the petals, just one facet of it, and we don't have to sit through all of it. And I think this is probably at 16 times speed because it's just like, it takes quite a while. So there we go. All of that done. You didn't have to sit through it. And you can see little peeks of the inside of it. But I'm not going to show you how I worked through all of that. See, and like, this is one of those things that would have been easier if I had just been decisive from the start and like knew exactly what I was going to do from the start. So I wouldn't have busied myself with other options. But it's like, it's all trial and error, and you don't know until you know. Gosh, one of my favorite brushes or little details that I add to this later on is, I don't know, it's like a brush that adds, as if the person, if they made it in real life and sculpted and painted this type of a cup, dropped a little bit of water while the paint was still drying, and like you'll see that later, but it's like, it's not there yet. But man, there were just so many layers to this drawing process. And it's funny too, because it's like, I'm working on this right now and it's like, whoa, that's a pretty vibrant blue. Then I fade it out to like, that layer will be at, I don't know, like 50% opacity. And it's like, why'd you spend all that effort when you're just going to hide it? It's like, it's important. You might see it later. Did that scare you? It did. I thought that Momo was playing with something. Oh. I haven't been in your room while the kitty food dispenser goes. Like, what toy could Momo possibly have right now? Yeah, now I'm just like trying to blend certain things if they look a little bit too sharp of a difference. There's the mask layer, or mask view. And it's all coming together, and it didn't take 9 hours.
You did take the green away.
The green?
The green.
Oh, the green, okay. Yeah, it's like I was looking at so many other examples of real life cups that are of this kind of variety of like, that look like flower petals, etc. And it's like, some of them did have green. Some of them had like a second layer of like swooshies that came out to be the leaves, and it's just like, if I didn't model it that way from the start, I can't really incorporate leaves here, so I think I just shouldn't make it green at all. Oh yeah, then I add some lighter things. I wanted it to be just, I don't know, like added some pink to make it look more purple. I don't think I've added my favorite little brush detail yet, but I'm going to watch with an eagle eye so I can make sure to point it out.
Evil eye?
An eagle eye so I can point it out. It's happening. No, it's not. Not that. It's not happening yet. But it's going to be with this type of a brush. I think it's about to happen now. It's going to be just along the top parts of the petals, just a little bit of a little detail of, no, I'm not doing it. I just need to stop looking out for it. Now I'm just doing a little bit more fading of whatever it is I think I'm doing. And then add a little bit more lightness to it. I don't really know why. And that's not going to remain so bright white. Don't worry and don't fall in love. Yeah, I put all that on and then I strategically like fade it out. And then I changed the color for it. Because that's how you do.
It's like makeup.
Yeah, exactly like makeup. And then just changing the color, like the base colors for each layer, just to see like, did I want it more blue or more purple? I think I want it more purple than that. And it was rough because I was looking at like art of irises and then real life pictures of irises, but irises have a lot of variety. There, I'm adding the little detail, and now I can see that it's not really visible on these speed-throughs. But just know it's there.
Beautiful.
Yes. Okay, this cup was kind of fun. It also took a while, but not quite as long as the other one. But I'm going to pull up it's not Photoshop, but it's Photopia. It's this online version of Photoshop that has basically everything Photoshop does. It's just that Photoshop is on my Mac, and it's hard to take screen recordings on my Mac because my Mac will start to hyperventilate. So, like, I can go on Photopia on my desktop computer, and it's just Photoshop, and it's fine. So what I make is, like, I wanted to make another kind of floral cup, but more, like, with decorative little flower images. So I make, like, I think it's like a splash sheet or I don't know, flash art of just, I think it's only 5 little drawings of daffodils.
Cute.
Yeah. And I render those all separately within Photoshop, and then it's like in Substance Painter, you can kind of like stamp images, like PNGs, onto your drawing. So it's like the notion of drawing like a bunch of these things individually onto the cup, it was just like not the smart way to handle it. So it's just like, just 5 images, I can work with that, and then I can stamp them. And like I can make them look the way I want to on Photoshop, and just not have to worry about working around all of Substance Painter's like drawbacks. What is the word for that? I think that might be the word. It's like there's certain capabilities in Photoshop that Substance Painter does not have. So I was more comfortable drawing in this program than I was in doing this type of thing in Substance Painter. Yeah, the red is the outlines now, but they're not final. The red is not the final look of it. I'm going to change that to black once I figure it out. It's like, that's a tip from one of the artists in Drawfee. She says, like, if you do your outlines in black or blue, it kind of signals to your brain that that's your final thing, and you might keep lines and think of them as final, whereas if you make them in red, you'll think of it as still like loose enough to change if you want to. Mm-hmm. So it's like a mental trick. So I've been trying to do that, but it's like I did those lines and I don't think I really like changed them so much afterward. Here I am like adding more lines, like more wobbliness, which like some of those I keep. I think I actually go through and I make even thinner lines later, and then I delete the ones that I'm adding right now. So just spoiler alert.
But I fell in love already.
Oh no!
I actually like the red. So just keep the red.
Your brain is wired even more differently, where like that makes it feel final to you. Red as in the sign of love for your heart.
Yeah.
You want it to see it all the time.
Red, like, stop and don't do anything else. You're done.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Just cleaning up those edges, coloring things in more, etc. It's like this one might have been another case like with the lantern one. I think I started off not wanting to have perfectly done outlines, wanting to have some spillover of the color, but then changed my mind. I feel like I do that a lot, where it's like, it'd be so cool to be having like spontaneous and wobbly outlines of things, but then I don't end up liking it. That's just the way you gotta live sometimes. But the shading can be kind of wobbly and spontaneous looking, and there are sometimes, yeah, like right now I'm zooming it pretty far back because I know it's just a really small detail on the cup eventually. It's like, this isn't going to be seen close up really, so I just needed to step back, take a long look, etc. Yeah, so these really teensy lines are the ones that will stay put, but I do have to, it's like, first I thought I was going to keep both sets of the detail lines, and so for a little while I zoom it out and like flash them on and off just to see, and I decided that I just like the really teensy lines. Flash, 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 flash. Mm-hmm. Even further back, flash, flash, flash. And then I decided, and I like the look of that. Yeah, and then some more highlighty parts, and then I have to go back and shift the hues to see, does it really look good from a distance, and just figure out how it is. These little red dots are not final. Don't fall in love with them. But they're just for me to see. Because when I zoom in to do the stamps, it's kind of hard to remember like what scale it ought to be at. So like the red dots help me as a guide. Let's see. I think I go through this whole process with these. Once I wrap it up, I realize that I want all of them to be just a little bit bigger. But I'm pretty sure I go through that process pretty quickly, so it won't be like a headache to watch. But hey, if you don't want to watch an art process video, like, what are you even doing here?
If you want it to be perfect, you just buy it at the store.
Exactly. Yeah, here I am making bigger dots, so I can just like revamp it. I needed to be able to see it better. And here I go, zooming through, zoom, 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 zoom. Get these stamps on really quick so people don't get bored. And I had a really hard time deciding on how I was gonna decorate like all the in-between parts, because like I get rid of the red and then it's just like, ugh, like they don't connect. So it's like I try this where I'm like, oh, whatever, just make it all connect using these long leaves and make like a chain of leaves that connect all of the flowers to each other. And I don't end up liking the look of that, but I stick with it for a little while, and I think I use this little chain of leaves I'm making right here as a guideline for what I ultimately end up doing, which you'll see it's like I'm making a kind of viney thing right now, and then I just do teeny tiny little leaves on it, and it's gonna look super good and you're gonna love it.
I already do.
And this was one where I had a really hard time because I didn't want it to be symmetrical. So like I had parts of it almost symmetrical, but I worked to make it not look symmetrical when it at the part where it would join, like at the border of those kinds of things. And it's not going to remain red. Don't fall in love with that. I think it's going to be gold, like the rim of the cup is. But yeah, this was a thing too where I made a lot of these leaves, and I thought I needed to add a lot more, so I did that, and then I realized I needed to take away a lot of them. So it's like you won't see any of that process. What we're at right now is the end of that. I just showed a little bit of making leaves, now I'm like staggering the size of the leaves to make them less uniform, because from a distance it looked kind of strange when the leaves were all the same exact size. So, okay, this is funny because this takes maybe like 20 seconds compared to like the hours that the other two took. I just need to choose the colors, and it's just a block color kind of a cup. And it's actually my cup colors. I tried to do the ones that I have for my very own. The inside rim of the cup is black too. Ta-da! There we go. Simple as that. And then this one is the final, like, kind of lengthy one, but this one was pretty fun to do. It's like a geometrical kind of thing, but it's still like delicate and pink and fun. And you're going to see me use a lot of random colors in this, but just know that those are like placeholder colors. Don't fall in love with them. Ultimately, everything is going to be pink. I just needed the very different colors to like differentiate them when I was in the process of making this. Yeah, long story short, it's all going to be pink. Except for this teal. I'm going to keep... No. Yeah, this is kind of like when you're on paint as a child and you're like trying to use all the random colors but not have any of them touch each other.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I have 5 different colors that I can pull this off with. So this one's just fun. I just color these in, and I don't show much of the process of me cleaning it up, I don't think, because it's just kind of tedious, because I want all the corners to be sharp where they meet up. And right now you can see that none of the corners are sharp, so that's all stuff that I'm going to have to fix later on. And it's just like a fun geometrical look. And like for a while I didn't show this process, but it's like I was trying to find some brush presets that would allow for this kind of look without me having to do it manually. But it was, again, just one of those things where you just have to suck it up and do it and just accept that it's going to take a little while. Okay, our topic list. So, Game of Thrones. Did Jaime and the Lannister siblings, their father had a brother, correct?
2 brothers.
2 brothers. And were they relevant at all?
Yeah.
You said one of them was working with, what's-her-face?
Yeah.
That lady, yeah. So, like, he wanted a chunk of royalty, of ruling?
Well, he and she made him be under the impression that he should be king.
Okay. But why? Was he, like, an older brother?
I don't remember.
So he should be king just because he had good skills, like leadership skills?
Something like that.
Or he was just...
It's been too long for me to be so expert on all the ins and outs.
You're the expert, though.
But it was like she put her eggs into that basket. And she...
just figuratively.
thought that one would pan out.
Okay.
And then it didn't. Yeah, like, there's this list I saw at one point of, like, if the show didn't just explicitly show that a person died, here's the chances of them actually being dead or alive.
Oh, okay.
And that was one of them. Like, when that guy died, it didn't get shown on the screen. So I was like, did he actually? Will he come back? Is that unfinished? You don't know. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember the answer to that.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like he stayed dead.
There was that one guy that... he and Arya had, like, a bit of a fling, I think, in the last season. But, like, he was there pretty early on in the show. His last name was Waters because he was, what's-his-face, Baratheon's, one of his B words. And, like, I remember he was shown, like, kind of early on in the show, like, being sent off in, like, a boat. And it was like, we won't see him for a while. And it was like people were wondering if that was just, like, the end. Because I think his actor was, like... a big enough deal that it was like he might not even want to come back because he might have other things to do. But then it was surprising and fun when he, like, did come back, because I remember seeing that, and I'm not even much of a follower of anything that happened there, but it was like I saw here are my true colors coming through. Oh, pinks. Cute. Anyway, but yeah, I saw that some people were excited because he and Arya were, like, had some interest there.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it seemed like she didn't really even care. She was just...
She had her own path at that point, yeah.
I remember thinking that was kind of bittersweet. Is like all the Stark children, it's like they didn't really get to be around each other much, and then even the ones who survived just had things separating them at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Sansa's sticking with her own place, and then Arya's just doing she's going off in a ship, right? And then like Jon is doing his wall stuff. Like, why didn't you guys get to see each other and hang out some more?
And then Bran isn't even Bran anymore. So I was sad.
Ta-da. And this one and then the final one take just a minute or so each. So this video is almost over.
This looks like Burm's cup. Doesn't he have one that has that kind of handle? It was his tea one.
Never met.
It had like the a little dish for tea because you use the loose leaf.
Okay.
Take the whole thing out.
That sounds familiar now.
I feel like it had a handle just like that.
I'd believe you. Believe you in hell.
Ooh.
This one is also, like the avocado, it was really hard to render because I made it too dark of a blue that it's just like, it looks fine in Substance Painter, but it's just kind of tricky when you're rendering. And here's the last one. This is one I should have just made it like kid coloring look to it, but then I decided on a different look and I have to live with my choices and then die. But it's fun. It's like a two-tone kind of thing. It's cute in its own way. And that's all there is to it.
Cute, cute, cute.
And thanks for watching. Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum.